interactive websites, online advertisements, computer games, and contents for various mobile devices.
Okay, children, as you can see, means Flash is a very useful software. It is the animation software which is used to create movies, pictures, graphics, and used to create games also. Okay, so today we are going to learn how to use Flash, what are the features of Flash, and how can we create animations in Flash. So let us see now further.
One advantage of Flash is that we can play the movies in any browser.
Yeah. As you know that any browser, Internet Explorer, Google Chrome, in any browser we can play the animations of Flash.
Time for Fact File. Jonathan Gay is considered as the main programmer and visionary of Flash, an animation editor for web pages.
Yes, children. As I told, who is the visionary
Sir,
programmer
speak loudly.
of Flash? It is Jonathan Gay. Jonathan Gay is the main visionary and
Jonathan.
who created, who developed Flash software. Okay, its full name is Adobe Flash. Adobe Flash. Okay.
हाँ
How to open Flash?
अभी खेलना
Click on Start All Programs, Adobe Flash CS3 Professional.
Yes. Now you learn how to start Flash. So before starting Flash, children, you must ensure that in your computer or in your laptop, there must be installed the software of Flash, Adobe Flash CS3. If there is software of Adobe Flash CS3 in your computer, then you can click on Start button, select All Program, select Adobe Flash CS3 Professional. Okay?
The opening screen appears. Click on Flash File Action Script 3.0 under Create.
Yeah, children. When opening screen appears, in that we can click on Flash File Action Script 3.0. Okay?
Create new section to open the Flash document.
Yeah. And then we create new section. We click on Create New Section to open the Flash document. And when the Flash document opens, it opens a white stage. White stage means that is just like you can say your whiteboard where you can write something, where you can draw something, okay? Or where we can work with the images or pictures.
Okay, let me share an interesting fact about Flash. Different versions of Flash have been released till now, from Flash 1.0 to Flash CS6 Professional. Flash was earlier known as Animator Future Splash until Macromedia Inc. bought by the company which developed it later on. Students, let us talk about the workspace. Flash is similar to the Paint software in Windows. It has almost the same tools that Paint uses, but it is mainly used for animation.
Okay, children. I hope you all know about MS Paint. So, as we know MS Paint, in the same way, Flash also has different tools, different parts in its window. So, here first we have the workspace. So, workspace means you can say the entire working area of the Flash is called workspace, just like in MS Paint. So in workspace, we have different tools used for the animation. Just like we use different tools in MS Paint, in the same way here we use different tools for drawing and animating the text and object.
The workspace is the arrangement of various Flash elements such as the tool panel, control panel, property inspector, and window.
Yes, children. Now, if anyone asks you what is the workspace, so simply you can tell that the workspace is the arrangement of various Flash elements, various tools of Flash. For example, control panel, tools panel, property inspector window, and other windows. Okay, so the combination of all these elements is called the workspace.
Okay, let us now have a discussion on Flash versus Paint. Alright, now let us discuss stage. The stage is a drawing board where we can create graphics, animation, make modifications in it.
Yes, children. Now, what is stage? Stage is the drawing area, a white color drawing area where we can create graphics, we can draw images, or we can draw pictures, or we can draw any other things. Okay?
It is a large white space that is present at the center of workspace. By default, the stage dimensions are 550 into 400 pixels.
Yes. If anyone asks you what is the dimension, what is the size of the stage, so you can say it is 550 into 400 pixel. Means 550 is the length of the workspace and 400 is the width of the workspace.
The gray area surrounding the stage is called the work area, where we can also place the contents and animate them.
Yes, now gray area, this area, which is beside the white area. Beside the white area, the gray area are called the work area, where also we can paste or we can create the objects and text.
We can change the view of the stage size by selecting view, then go zoom in, then view, then go and zoom out option. Let us now talk about menu. The menu contains controls for common functions like opening and saving files, as well as specific functions like copying and pasting, calling up specific panels and controlling the overall Flash environment.
Yes, Sharon. Now, about the menus. When we start working in Flash, we require different commands, different tools to perform our function. So when we require different tools, different commands, for that we use the menu bar. In the menu bar, there are different menus available which provides us different facilities for using the commands like file menu, edit menu, view menu, insert menu, modify menu, text menu, commands menu, control menu, debug menu, Windows menu, and help. These are the different menus available at the menu bar. And this is also an important part of the workspace.
Now let me tell you about the Tools panel. The Tools panel consists of various tools to draw, paint, select and modify objects in the workspace.
Yes, Sharon. Now, when we are going to use Flash for the animation, so regarding the animation, we require different tools to draw the objects, to erase the objects, or to modify the object, or to change the object. And what are that tools? You can see that tools are available in the Tools panel, like selection tools, sub-selection tools, gradient tool, line tool, pen tool, oval tool, text tool. So these are different tools which we can use to draw different types of objects on the stage. And these tools are available in the Tools panel. Simply you can say Tools panel consists of various tools used to draw, paint, select and modify objects in the workspace.
The Tools panel is divided into 4 parts: Tools, View, Colors, and Options. Tool section contains tools that are used for drawing, painting, and selecting objects.
Yes, sir. Now I'm talking about the parts of Tools panel. Tools panel consists of different tools, okay? Like the selection tools, the color tools, the other tools. Okay, so let us learn first color tools and selection tools.
View selection consists of tools for zooming and panning the application window.
View section, like if you can zoom or you can zoom in or zoom out for viewing the stage, like when stage is appearing, so how to view the object or drawing in a zoomed manner, in a big way, big pictures. So that we can do with the help of zoom tool, or you can say with the help of view sections.
Colors section includes modifiers to select colors for the shape you draw using stroke and fill color pickup.
Color sections, simply in color sections we have the colors, color palettes like eye drop tool, brush tool, paint tool. So different color tools are available in the color section.
Option selection displays modifier for the currently selected tools. Modifiers affect the tool's painting or editing operations. Okay, let me share the fact that the default extension of Flash file is .fla. Alright,
Excellent. Kindly remember this. When we save a flash file, its default extension is given as .fla. Okay, remember this. Now let us learn what is the timeline, next part of the workspace.
now we will talk about the timeline. The timeline is a fixed window that stays on top of every object in the workspace.
Yes, you can see a timeline where written the numbers indicating the time periods like 1, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. These indicate the gap of timing for animation. Okay, and this only is called the timeline.
It organizes and controls the content of the document over time in frames as well as in layers.
Yes, it organizes the objects which we draw on the stage, that objects and text are organized into frames and layers with the help of timeline.
The major components of the timeline are layers, frames, and playhead. It has a ruler like a strip called frames and a field labeled as layer 1.
Yes, student. Now, if we talk about the parts of timeline, so timeline has the layers, okay, the frames and keyframes. Now, if we talk about the frame, what are the frames? So, frame has timeline has a ruler like a strip called frames. Okay, like ruler here you can see gray color, white color, gray color, white color. These ruler like strips are called frames where we organize our pictures.
Students, let us learn about the frames. Animations in Flash are created with the help of frames. Frames in Flash can be defined the little rectangular cells that appear on the timeline.
Yes, here you can see little rectangular cells of gray or white color. These little rectangular cells are called frames and they help us to create the animations, or you can say in Flash, animation is created with the help of frames only.
Each frame has a number which you can find on the top of the timeline. Like films, Flash document divides the length time into frames. A frame displays the content of the movie at a specific moment on time. Let us take a quick view. The shortcut to insert a frame is F5.
Yes, student, kindly remember this. When we create animation, to insert a frame, the shortcut key which we use, that is F5. To insert a frame, the shortcut key is F5. And to insert a keyframe, the shortcut key is F6. We will use it afterwards in our animation, but first let us see.
Let us now talk about keyframes. Keyframes are special types of frames where we define some change to an object's properties for an animation, like position, color, shape, etc.
Yes, student. Now kindly see. Keyframes are special types of frame. Keyframes are the special types of frame where we define some change in the object, like its color, its shape or size. When we change the shape, size or color of an object, this change is defined with the help of keyframe. That's why we call keyframe as a special type of frame.
We can easily change the length of a twinned animation by dragging a keyframe in the timeline. Now let me share an interesting fact with you. Keyframes can be of two types. If a keyframe has content in it, then it is represented by a dark circle. An empty circle preceded by a keyframe represents that it is an empty keyframe.
Yes, student. Dark circle represents a keyframe with a content and an empty circle represents an empty keyframe. Remember this.
Alright students, quickly note this that the shortcut to insert a keyframe is F6.
Yeah, as I told before, the shortcut key to insert a keyframe is F6. F6. And the shortcut key to insert a frame is F5.
Let's now discuss about layers. Layers are like multiple film strips stacked on top of one another, each containing a different image that appears on the stage.
Yes, children. If we talk about layers, so layers are the transparent sheets. They are transparent sheets which are stacked on top of each other. Like here, layer 1 is written. So on layer 1, if we draw any object, and on layer 2, if we draw any object. So similarly, simultaneously at the same time, you can watch both the objects of layer 1 and 2. That's why we call the layers as the transparent sheets, because they are transparent. You can see one object of layer with another object of layer moving together, and that's what is the animation is created. Okay, so that's why we say layers are the transparent sheets which are stacked or which are kept on top of each other.
A layer contains its own timeline with endless frames. It could be defined as one independent movie of only one level. When we open a new Flash document, it contains only one layer. We can add more layers to organize the artwork and animation in a document.
Yes, children. When we open Flash document, first of all, by default, the document contains only one layer, named as layer 1. But we can add many more layers. There are given new layer, insert new layer button here, from which we can insert many layers, layer 2, layer 3, layer 4, or many layers.
We can draw and edit objects on one layer without affecting objects on another layer.
Yeah, that is the main point. As I told, the layers are the transparent sheets. So objects, if you draw on one layer, will not affect the objects drawn on the other layer. Remember this. That is the feature of layers, that we can draw and edit objects on one layer without affecting the objects of another layer.
Layer. The active layer is indicated with the pencil icon next to a layer name in the timeline.
Yes, if we click on any layer, that layer becomes active, and that is indicated with a pencil icon. Remember this.
Now we shall talk about playhead. The playhead indicates the current frame displayed on the stage.
See here, playhead. Playhead indicates the current frame selected on the stage. Current frame selected in the timeline is called as playhead. Okay, it displays the current object selected.
The playhead moves from the left to right through the timeline. Okay, now let us find out what is a property inspector. The property inspector is a panel that displays the properties of the selected object, text, symbol, an image, a line, or a shape.
Yes, children. Property inspector window is a window which is located at the bottom of Flash screen. Remember this, it is located at the bottom of Flash screen. It displays the property or settings related to selected object. Any object, if we select on the stage, the related setting or property appears in the property inspector window. For example, if we draw any line, so what type of line is that? What is the size of that line? What is the color of that line? All that is displayed in the property inspector window. Okay, that line is a solid line or dashed line or hashed line or any other type of line. So that is determined by the property of that object. In the same way, the color or the size of that object can also be decided, can also be changed with the help of property inspector window. And this window is displayed at the bottom of the screen.
The list of properties also vary in the property inspector. You can make changes to the object or document attributes in the property inspector. Okay, students, now let us learn how to set document properties. Each time when we open Flash, the application opens a new file with the default settings for the movie properties. We can create a new movie as we work. To set the frame rate, background, color, and ruler units, we use the following steps. Click on File, then go to New. The New Document dialog box is displayed. Select the Flash file ActionScript 3.0 option in the type list. Click OK. Select Modify, then go to Document. The Document Properties dialog.
Okay, children, now listen. When we open the Flash document, new Flash document, after that we click on Modify menu. And in the menu, Modify menu, we find Document Properties dialog box. Okay, there is option Document Property. When we click on Document Property, a new dialog box appears in which we can decide the dimensions or the color of our stage. So here the dimension is written 550 into 400 pixel. This we can change. We can make it to 1000 into 500 or 600 pixels. And we can also change the background color of the stage. Here is given background color that we can change. Let us see now.
This dialog box appears. To change the frame rate, specify the speed of a movie in frames per second. By default, the frame rate is 12 FPS, frame per second.
Yes, student. There is given frame rate also. Frame rate decides the speed of animation. If you change the frame rate, if you make the frame rate high, then what happens? The animation is played very speedy, with very speed. And if you decrease the frame rate, if you make the frame rate low, then what will happen? The animation is played very slow. So it depends. The animation speed is dependent on the frame rate. Okay.
Type 8 FPS in frame rate box. To specify the stage size in pixels, enter the values of width and height in the dimensions text box. To set the background color of the document, choose any color for the stage from the background color swatch. To set the stage size to the maximum available print area, click the radio button printer under Match section. Select the unit from the drop-down list of ruler units. Click on OK after specifying the required options. Students, quickly note this that to make the Properties panel visible on the screen, press Ctrl plus F3. Let me tell you that Ctrl plus J is the shortcut key to display Document Properties dialog box.
Yeah, children. Remember, this is the shortcut for displaying the Document Properties dialog box. Otherwise, you can click on Modify menu and select Document Property.
Now, let us learn how to draw an object and group outline with film. When we make a drawing in Flash, it actually creates two objects, the fill and the outline. To manipulate elements as a single object, we need to group them. Select the pencil tool and select brown as a stroke color and fill color.
Now kindly see, children, carefully how we draw the object. We are telling that when we draw any object on the stage, it has actually two parts, fill and outline. So to make both the objects work together, we group the object by pressing Ctrl plus G. Kindly check here. Here it is selected a tool and then selected a color. Then it is going to draw.
Draw the stem as shown in the figure. Choose the selection tool and move the pointer on the tree trunk. A curve is displayed below the arrow. Hold down the left mouse button and drag the lines to give a proper shape. Select the pencil tool and select Smooth Mode from the Options section. Select green as the stroke and fill color. Draw the curves of the tree top as shown in the figure.
Kindly see, children. Now, first tree trunk has been drawn with the help of pencil tool. Now it is going to draw the tree top. Tree top will be drawn with green color with the pencil tool, and then we will adjust together.
Select the Paint Bucket tool and click inside the tree top. Similarly, fill brown color in the stem. Select the Selection tool and double-click on the tree top. Drag the tree top over the tree trunk. Choose the Selection tool and then select the tree by dragging around the tree. Students, note this. To select both the objects, choose the Selection tool. Hold down the Shift key and double-click on the objects. Then
Yes, children. If we have drawn two objects and if we want to take them together, what we do, we select them together by dragging, or if we are not dragging, then what we can do, we can click on the selection tool, arrow tool, then we can press shift key and double click on the objects.
select modify, then go to group.
Yes, and then to group the objects, to make both the objects as one object, what we do, we can go on modify menu and select group option.
Let us learn about applying gradient fill. Gradient means filling color in an object from light to dark that basically gives shade to an object or a color formed by mixing of two or more colors in an object.
Yes, student. Now you are telling about gradient fill. Gradient fill means mixture of two or more than two colors. Mixture of two or more than two colors. And one color appears dark one side and appears fade another side. Okay, it fades out as it goes to another side. And one side the color appears dark. So this way we can say that gradient is a mixture of two or more than two colors where or in which one side the color is dark and the other side it is light or it is fade. As here given, gradient means filling color in an object from light to dark. Light to dark means one side it is lighter, another side it is darker. And that basically gives the shade to an object or a color formed by mixing two or more than two colors in an object.
Select the tree using the selection tool. Select the paint bucket tool. Click the fill color drop-down arrow to get the color palette. Select the gradient effect and click inside the object. The gradient color fills the shape. Time for quick view. To group the selected groups, make use of Ctrl+G key combination.
Okay, children. So have you seen how to group the objects? I hope you all have understood.